quiet reflection on letting go, peace, and the way we live life often teaches us in subtle ways, yet we tend to complicate it with our need to be right, to win, to be understood. But the more we argue, the more we prove ourselves, the more we risk losing something far more valuable: connection. A victory in words can quietly become a defeat in the heart. Perhaps true wisdom is not in convincing others, but in learning when to step back. There is a quiet strength in choosing peace over pride, in letting time speak instead of forcing explanations. Not everything needs to be resolved immediately, and not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. Some things are better softened by patience. As I reflect on this, I realize how much of our suffering comes from expectation. We want people to understand us, situations to unfold in our favor, and life to follow a predictable path. But life has never promised such certainty. It is fluid, unpredictable, and often indifferent to our plans. And yet within that uncertainty lies a strange kind of freedom, if we allow it. There is something deeply grounding in returning to oneself, to pause, to ask, what am I doing? Where am I going? When we remain aware of our direction, we do not easily lose our way. And even when we do, awareness becomes our compass back. Gratitude, too, changes everything. Not only gratitude for those who love and support us, but also for those who challenge us. It is easy to appreciate kindness, but harder and perhaps more transformative to appreciate difficulty. The people who oppose us, who test our patience, often shape our strength in ways comfort never could. And yet we spend so much time comparing, measuring our lives against others, feeling lacking or superior, never quite at peace. But comparison is a quiet thief. It steals contentment without offering anything real in return. When we stop comparing, something softens within us. We begin to see that life was never a competition, but a personal journey. I've come to see that many of our reactions are unnecessary burdens. Someone speaks harshly and we carry their words like wounds. But why? Not every voice deserves a place in our mind. There is a kind of freedom in choosing not to react, in letting things pass like clouds instead of storms. Letting go, however, is not easy. We hold on to people, outcomes, identities, even pain, because they feel familiar. But holding on too tightly often leads to quiet suffering. There is a gentle art in knowing when to release, when to accept that something has served its purpose and must now pass. Peace, I think, is not something we find outside. It is something we cultivate within. A calm mind is not dependent on perfect conditions, but on a softened perspective. When we stop magnifying gain and loss, success and failure, we begin to experience a lighter way of being. Still, kindness must walk hand in hand with awareness. To be kind does not mean to be blind. To give does not mean to lose oneself. There is a balance between compassion and self-respect, and learning that balance is part of growing wiser. In the end, life reveals itself to be far simpler than we imagine. We complicate it with endless desires, comparisons, and worries about things that may never happen. But when we strip it down, what truly matters becomes clear: a peaceful mind, a sincere heart, and the ability to appreciate the present moment. Time moves quietly. Days pass whether we are joyful or burdened, and one day we may look back and realize that the moments we worried so much about were never as important as we thought. What mattered was how we lived, how we treated others, and how gently we held our own hearts. Perhaps the most profound lesson is this: happiness is not something we chase, it is something we allow. When we learn to let go a little, expect a little less, and appreciate a little more, life begins to feel lighter. Not perfect, not without pain, but peaceful in a way that is enough. And maybe, just maybe, enough is where true happiness has always been waiting. Life is quiet, but we are loud. We argue, prove, defend, as if being right could heal the heart. Yet every victory of the ego leaves a small crack in our connections. So we learn, slowly, to soften, to let go of the need to win, to let silence speak where words fail, to trust that time will unfold what force never could. We chase understanding yet forget not everyone is meant to understand us, and that is okay, because peace does not come from being seen by the world, but from seeing ourselves clearly. Comparison steals our joy and whispers. It tells us we are not enough, or that we are more than others. Both are illusions. Contentment is quieter. It does not shout. It simply sits beside you and says, "This moment is already enough." Let go, they say. But letting go is not losing, it is returning. Returning to breath, to stillness, to the simple truth that nothing was ever ours to keep. And in that release, something unexpected happens. We become lighter. Not because life is easier, but because we are no longer carrying what was never meant to stay. So live gently, think kindly, hold lightly. Because in the end, happiness was never something to chase, it was something to allow. 2. TED Talk style. Clear, insightful, engaging. Let me ask you something. How many times have you won an argument and still felt like you lost something? Because that's the paradox of life. Being right doesn't always make things right. We live in a world where we're taught to prove ourselves, to be understood, to compete, to compare. But what if the real skill in life is not in winning, but in letting go? Think about it. Most of our stress doesn't come from reality itself, but from our expectations of how reality should be. We expect people to understand us. We expect life to go our way. We expect certainty in an uncertain world. And when those expectations aren't met, we suffer. But here's the shift. Peace begins the moment we stop trying to control everything. When we stop comparing, we stop feeling less than or more than, and start feeling enough. When we stop reacting to every negative word, we reclaim control over our inner world. Strong people forgive, wise people let go, and truly peaceful people, they simply don't carry what doesn't belong to them. And maybe the most powerful idea is this: happiness is not something you achieve, it's something you allow when you remove what blocks it. So if there's one thing to take away today, it's this: let go a little more, expect a little less, appreciate a little deeper, because life doesn't need to be perfect to feel peaceful, it just needs you to be present. 3. Short social media version, concise and impactful. You don't need to win every argument. Sometimes peace is more valuable than being right. Not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Stop comparing, stop reacting, stop holding on to things that hurt. Let go of what you can't control. Appreciate what you already have. Happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you allow when you finally learn to say, "I'm letting go." There is a strange habit we all share. We try so hard to be right that we forget how to be at peace. We argue, we explain, we defend ourselves, as if clarity alone could fix everything. But somewhere along the way, we begin to notice something subtle. Every time we win an argument, we lose a little bit of connection. And maybe that's where wisdom begins. Not in speaking louder, but in knowing when to be silent. Not in proving others wrong, but in choosing not to fight at all. Because not everything needs resolution. Some things simply need time and a softer heart. We spend so much of our lives wanting to be understood. But what if the real peace comes from understanding ourselves instead? From accepting that not everyone will see the world the way we do, that life will not always unfold according to our plans. And strangely enough, when we stop demanding that it should, life becomes lighter. There is also this quiet struggle within us, comparison. We look at others and feel behind or ahead, but rarely at ease. Yet the truth is, comparison never gives us peace. It only pulls us away from what we already have. And what we have in this moment has always been enough. If only we knew how to see it. We react too quickly, to words, to judgments, to passing opinions. But not everything deserves a response. Sometimes strength is simply choosing not to carry what was never meant for you, to let it pass, to stay still.
Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath. And just for a moment, Allow yourself to be here. Right now, in this very moment. You are alive. And that means something powerful. You can change your life. Not someday. Not in the future. But right now. Because the only moment you ever truly have is this one. Every thought you think, every word you speak, is shaping your life. Your mind has been repeating patterns over and over again. Some of them empowering you, but many of them quietly holding you back. And the truth is, you may have learned these patterns long ago, but you are not them. You are the one who can choose again. You are the one who can think a new thought. Affirmations are not just words. They are seeds. Seeds planted deep within your mind. And just like any seed, they need the right environment to grow. If your thoughts are filled with doubt, fear, resentment, those seeds struggle. But when your mind becomes a place of love, of trust, of possibility, everything begins to change. So right now, gently repeat, I am ready to change. I am open to a new life. Let those words settle inside you. Most people are not lacking success. They are lacking self-love. Somewhere along the way, you may have learned to believe that you are not enough, that you are not worthy, that you must prove yourself to deserve love. But that belief is not the truth. It is only a story. And today, you can let that story go. So softly say, I love myself. I accept myself exactly as I am. Again, slowly, I love myself. Because everything in your life begins with how you treat yourself. You cannot create a new future while holding on to the past. Resentment, anger, guilt. These are heavy weights, and they keep you stuck. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about setting yourself free. So in this moment, choose to release. I let go of the past. I choose peace. Breathe. You are allowed to move forward. If you keep thinking, there is not enough, life will continue to show you lack. But if you begin to think differently, if you begin to trust, something shifts. Abundance is not something you chase. It is something you allow. So right now, feel gratitude, even for the smallest things. And say, life supports me. Abundance flows into my life. Let yourself believe it, just a little. That is how it begins. Stop searching for love. Become love. When you truly begin to love yourself, you become magnetic. You no longer chase. You attract. So say, I am worthy of love. I attract healthy and loving relationships. And trust. The right people will meet you at the level of your self-worth. Stress is not your enemy. It is a signal that somewhere inside there is fear. So instead of fighting it, pause, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, I am safe. I trust life. Let your body relax. Let your mind slow down. You do not need to carry everything at once. Your thoughts are powerful. More powerful than you have ever been taught. Every moment, you are creating your life. Through what you think. Through what you believe. Through what you repeat. Again and again. So choose carefully. Choose gently. Choose thoughts that make you feel good. Because feeling good is the path. And now, as you sit here, breathing, listening, know this. You already have everything you need. The power is already within you. All you have to do is choose. Choose new thoughts. Choose new beliefs. Choose a new story. And from this moment on, you begin again. Say it softly, with belief. I can do it. I can change my life. I am creating a better life, right now. Pause. Feel it. This is your beginning. And everything is possible.
Life was never meant to be a battle. It was meant to be experienced slowly, gently, with awareness. If this video brings you a moment of peace, follow this channel so we can continue this journey together.
Buddhist meditations music, videos, sacred, peaceful, compassionate, and deeply spiritual atmosphere that calms the mind and opens the heart. Buddhist meditation. Buddhist meditation. Buddhist meditation. Buddhist meditation. Buddhist meditation. Nhạc Phật Thiên Sâu.